The sun scorched the dusty town square as Aiyana stood barefoot on the rough wooden platform, trembling. Her wrists ached under tight ropes, her dress torn at the shoulder. Men's voices rose in a chaotic rhythm, shouting numbers as if she were livestock. She kept her eyes fixed on the splintered boards, avoiding the faces that saw her as property, something to own, to use, to discard. The auctioneer's voice boomed, listing her qualities with the enthusiasm of a salesman peddling tools. Strong hands, good worker, he declared, his grip bruising her shoulder. Aiyana didn't flinch. She'd learned not to. She tried to retreat into her mind, to a place of wide skies and her mother's voice, before everything was stolen. But the auctioneer's squeeze pulled her back. "Look lively," he hissed. "You want them thinking you're sickly?" She stayed silent, her breath shallow, her heart pounding. The bids climbed, each number a stone piling onto her chest. Then, a hush fell over the crowd. A man at the back, tall and broad-shouldered in a worn hat, spoke a single number, shockingly high. The auctioneer laughed, waiting for a counterbid, but none came. "Sold," he shouted, slamming his gavel. The man approached the platform. Aiyana braced for cruelty, expecting him to drag her away. Instead, he stopped below her, his weathered face calm, his dark eyes steady, not cruel, but almost sad. He drew a knife, and her breath caught, fearing the worst. But he cut the ropes binding her wrists, letting them fall. Then, he extended his hand, not to grab, but to offer. She stared, confused, terrified. Men like this didn't exist in her world. Not anymore. Hesitantly, she placed her trembling hand in his. His grip was firm yet gentle as he helped her down. "Can you walk?" he asked, his voice low, rough from years of solitude. She nodded, unable to speak. He led her through the murmuring crowd to a sturdy brown horse. "I can lift you, or you can use the stirrup. Your choice. Your choice." The words felt alien. When had anyone last given her a choice? She climbed up herself, her weak muscles straining. He mounted behind her, keeping a respectful distance, and they rode away from the town, the platform, the nightmare. They rode in silence across a harsh landscape of dry grass and jagged rocks. Exhaustion tugged at her, but fear kept her rigid. "My name's Boone Dalton," he said eventually. "Got a small ranch 10 miles north. Just me and some cattle. You don't have to tell me your name until you're ready." She didn't respond, her voice locked away by months of pain. He didn't push. When she swayed in the saddle, his hand steadied her waist. "Easy," he murmured. "I've got you. You can rest." Against every instinct, she leaned back, her head against his chest, and closed her eyes. When she woke, the sun had shifted. A modest ranch came into view, a weathered house, a barn, a corral with horses. Boone helped her down, but she slid off herself, landing hard. He didn't comment, just tied the horse and faced her. Then, he did something unthinkable, he pulled out the bill of sale, the proof of her purchase, and tore it in half. The pieces fluttered to the ground. "You're free," he said. "That paper was the only thing binding you. Now it's gone." Aiyana's mind reeled. This had to be a trick. "Why?" she whispered, her voice raw. "Because you're a person, not property," he said simply. "What happened back there was wrong. I had the money to stop it, so I did." He turned toward the house. "There's a room inside with a lock on the door, on the inside. Bed, basin, water. I'll bring food later." He walked away, leaving her alone in the yard. She entered the house cautiously. The main room was sparse but clean, the home of someone who'd stopped caring for comfort. The promised room held a bed with a faded quilt, a basin, and a bolt on the door. She slid it shut, the metallic click a rare comfort. The room smelled faintly of lavender, a ghost of someone else's life. She sat on the bed, knees to her chest, and waited for the catch, the moment his kindness would reveal its price. A soft knock came later. "Left a plate out here," Boone called. "Water, too." "I'll be in the barn." She waited, then retrieved bread, dried meat, and water, retreating to bolt the door again. She ate slowly, rationing, and slept for the first time in months without waking in terror. Dawn brought new sounds, Boone's footsteps heading to the barn. She found another plate on the table with a note, "Take your time. No rush. I'll be with the horses." She watched him through the window, working with a skittish horse, his patience endless. Around midday, a rider approached, a woman, Clara Tate, a neighbor. Aiyana hid, heart racing, as Clara spoke animatedly with Boone. He shook his head, firm, protective. Clara left, frustrated. Aiyana realized he'd sent her away to respect her privacy. That evening, she stepped outside, approaching the corral where Boone worked. "Who was that woman?" she asked, keeping her distance. "Clara Tate," he said. "Heard I brought someone home. Wanted to meet you. I said you weren't ready. She didn't believe you. Doesn't matter what she believes. Matters what you're ready for." He paused, watching the horse. "This one doesn't trust me yet. But it will when it's ready." "My name's Aiyana," she said quietly, offering a piece of herself. "That's a good name," he replied. "Thank you for trusting me with it." Days settled into a rhythm. Boone worked the ranch, Aiyana stayed near the house, watching for hidden motives. He left food daily, never entering her room without knocking, never demanding work. His lack of expectations unnerved her. She began tending the overgrown garden behind the house, her mother's teachings guiding her hands. The work soothed her, though she froze when Boone noticed. He only nodded and returned to his tasks. That evening, she found boots and a hat outside her door, no note, just practical gifts. One morning, a commotion in the barn drew her. Boone lay on the ground, leg twisted, the young horse panicked in a corner. She calmed the animal with her mother's words, then helped Boone to the house. His ankle was sprained, swollen. Using her mother's knowledge, she treated it with cold compresses and healing plants. "Rest," she ordered. He protested, but her firmness won. For 3 days, she ran the ranch, feeding horses, moving cattle, checking fences. Boone gave instructions from the porch, but she learned quickly. On the third evening, he tried to stand, only to collapse. She caught him, their eyes meeting. "Thank you," he said. "For staying. For helping." "We're even," she replied. "You didn't have to save me either." "I don't know what this is," she admitted, "but I'm not ready to leave." "Then I'm glad you're here." 5 days later, 3 riders appeared at dawn, Malachi Vaughn, who'd bid against Boone, and 2 armed men. Aiyana's blood ran cold. Boone, on a makeshift crutch, faced them from the porch. "Get inside," he told her. "No," she said. "I'm not hiding anymore." Vaughn dismounted, smirking. "Heard you had an accident, Dalton. Just checking on your purchase. I'll pay double what you spent." "She's not property," Boone growled. "She's not for sale." "Everything's for sale," Vaughn sneered. "Sell her, or we'll take her." Aiyana stepped forward. "I'm not going with you." Clara arrived with 5 armed ranchers, her voice cutting through. "This is a community, Vaughn. We look out for each other." Outnumbered, Vaughn retreated, but not before warning, "This isn't over." Clara turned to Aiyana. "You could leave, head north, start fresh. Be free." Aiyana looked at the garden, the ranch, Boone. "I'm staying. I've been in danger my whole life. Here, it's my choice." After the neighbors left, Boone said, "You didn't have to stay." "I'm doing it for me," she replied. "This place gave me something worth fighting for." "What changed?" he asked. You never asked for gratitude. You gave me space to remember who I was. 3 months later, autumn arrived. The garden thrived, and Aiyana traded surplus with neighbors, forging bonds. Boone's leg healed, though a limp remained. They worked as partners, maintaining a careful distance born of shared scars. One evening, on the porch, Aiyana asked about his wife. Boone spoke of Margaret, strong, gentle, lost in childbirth with their baby. I saw you on that platform, he said. I needed to save someone. You gave me space to save myself, she said, placing her hand over his. That's not nothing. She shared her own story, her village destroyed, her mother killed, months of captivity. Boone listened, his eyes wet. You survived, he said. That's strength. I'm not destroyed anymore, she whispered. I'm healing. Because of this place. Because of you. I just provided the place, he said. You did the healing. Aiyana hesitated. I don't know if I can love again. That part of me might be broken. I understand, he said. I'm not sure I can either. But I care about you. We can build something, even if it's not what people expect. I'm not worth anything, she whispered, echoing her past despair. You're worth everything, he said, pressing her hand to his heart. I'll prove it, if you'll let me. Let's build something new, she said. Something ours. They stood, hands clasped, two scarred souls choosing to heal together. It wasn't a fairy tale, just real, earned, enough.